Now that the dust has settled with the new release of the Canon C50 and the Nikon Red ZR, I know there's a lot of people probably asking the question, should I sell my FX3? I'm asking that question. So in this video, I want to walk through the reasons why you might want to switch and the reasons why you might not want to switch. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for a video. Now these two new cameras, the Nikon Red and the Canon, are both very interesting looking cameras. They both come in significantly cheaper than the FX3. And so of course there's all these videos floating around YouTube immediately like the FX3 killer. Now I don't know that they're killers. First of all, this camera's been out for four and a half years now, and if it takes that long to improve upon something or to match it, I don't know that it's a killer. But they both do things that this does not do. But when it comes to upgrading gear, I always have a few checklist points that I have to go through in order to know whether or not it's worth it. Should you upgrade or should you switch? And the first and most important when we're talking about cameras of this caliber, of this price point, is will it make you more money? I think that's the most fundamental question. If it's going to make you more money, then it's kind of a no-brainer to upgrade or to switch. For instance, if you're running a much older camera, or you're just trying to get into a cinema camera, or especially if you were already in the Canon or the Nikon ecosystem, that's a whole different conversation. I know that if I was in the Canon ecosystem, if I had a bunch of RF glass, I would absolutely be buying a C50 immediately. And I know that if I was already in the Nikon system and I was doing video work, not just photo work, and I had a bunch of Z-mount glass, I would be buying the Nikon ZR immediately. Where the conversation gets a bit harder, a bit fuzzier, is when you already have a killer rig and a bunch of glass. So the reasons you might want to sell your FX3 is for the two biggest reasons that I see is, one, you film with anamorphic lenses and you either already own a pair of 2x squeeze anamorphics, or that's what you really want to shoot with, and the Canon will give you open gate. So much better format for filming on 2x anamorphic lenses. I think if I had a bunch of 2x glass and I had an FX3, I would consider selling my FX3 for the new Canon. Now, if I had a red camera, a Komodo or a Dragon or something, and that was like my main A cam, and I had an FX3 as my B cam, then there's another good reason. Matching color science, having red raw built right into the Nikon Red camera, the ZR. I think that would be worth the change to sell the FX3 for the ZR, just so that way you could have the matching color science and you could cut those very easily together. So will it make you more money? Does it do something that you absolutely need or that will make your life much, much easier? Or will it enhance your workflow or speed up your workflow? Because that's another part of this conversation. If your workflow gets easier or your workflow gets faster, that does actually make you more money. But I think the current state of cameras is kind of insane. It's incredible because every camera does incredible work. I mean, I'm filming this on a Sony a7 IV, which I've had for four and a half years now. Whenever it came out, I bought it right when it came out, and I've filmed incredible stuff on this camera. Does the Canon C50 have more dynamic range? Does it look a little better? Maybe better rolling shutter than my a7 IV? Yeah. Does the Nikon ZR have better rolling shutter, have better codecs, red raw, better color science than my Sony a7 IV? Yeah. Will either of those cameras make my videos more successful and get more views? No, absolutely not. So I think what's really important when we're looking at upgrades like this or changing systems like this is it has to make you more money, it has to enhance your workflow, or it has to do something you need a camera to do that your current setup does not do. So no, I will not be switching systems. I will not be selling my FX3, but I want to give you my thoughts on what Sony needs to do now to answer to these two cameras they're really great cameras. Now the FX3 already has 4K 120 with no crop, 4K 60 with no crop. There's no crippling happening in here. So if Sony wants to take back the throne with the FX3 II, what I think they need to do is have even faster readout speed or a global shutter. I think a global shutter would be a no-brainer. They already have global shutter in the A1 III, I think it is. They absolutely need to include open gate. Open gate is, in my opinion, moving forward from here, open gate is a non-negotiable for a cinema camera. So many people are using anamorphic lenses now, and so many people will choose a system because it has open gate. So the FX3 II has to have open gate. I think think Sony also needs to include some heavier weight codecs with this. Both the Nikon and the Canon have like crazy codecs, like dense codecs that are incredible for color grading, and that is starting to leave the FX3 a little behind. I also think Sony needs to put 32-bit float in the next one. And honestly, I think that's all it needs. Internal RAW would be great, but I don't know many people that are actually taking advantage of that because the file sizes are so insane. But internal RAW and internal ProRes would be wonderful. And I think that anything less than this is gonna make it an underwhelming camera when the next one comes out. And I think if Sony doesn't do those things and everyone else keeps moving forward with open gate and RAW internal and all this other stuff, then I think Sony might lose the throne. But for right now, I don't need to switch. Those are both incredible cameras, and if you're already in those ecosystems, they are no-brainer purchases for you. But I think we lose sight of the fact that it's the story that you're telling. The story is always the most important thing. How you light the scene is the most important thing. Your presentation on screen is the most important thing, and it does not matter what camera you have. If you don't get those things right, then it will fail. It will not be a successful project or a successful film or a successful YouTube video. And I think it's real easy to lose sight of this when we see these new shiny things coming out. But I think a lot of people would probably be better off focusing more on their storytelling and on their lighting. Hope you found this entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe. Drop me a comment and let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.